Okay, so I have completed Metro Light Redux. Pretty good, pretty good. I was really afraid that this would just be not good. I've played this Metro the most, the original one, the version of this, and I was afraid that I just wouldn't get into it because I had played it so many times. I think on the Xbox 360, I had it, and I had lost access to Metro the 2033. So but all in all, good playthrough. Very good playthrough. It sticks true to the first game while bringing something new to the picture. I think there's a lot of vehicular movement in this game. You're constantly jumping from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle. I think when you mess with the Nazis, you end up going on a chain of like two or three vehicles. But it's cool because how else would you get around in the metro? Um, it freaked me out that you could start the game with any weapon besides the duplet, but that does not matter. Just shoot your shots away. Crazy enough, I believe that I got to carry over my ammunition from my first playthrough. I believe I had 200 rounds, which made me very delighted because I used every one of them in this game. I did not do the highest difficulty. I did the one right beneath the highest difficulty. And I will tell you, some parts of the game, especially the early parts against the men, pretty easy. But across the game, the mutants were pretty hard. The mutants were pretty freaking hard throughout most of the game, to be quite honest. You can start off. It baffled me that the buckshot machine gun uh it was a starting weapon for the game, but without spoiling the surprise, it's not really that crazy. I don't think not really that crazy. At the beginning of the game, if you listen to the soldiers banter, it's not just useless banter like in mini games. They actually give you some useful advice, which is to follow the red markers. Maybe you would have figured this out anyways, but early on in the game, I was like, okay, when I see the markers, I will follow them. There are new guns. There were new guns. Why does Khan feel for the Dark One so much? I feel as if Khan is just the plot-oriented device to get us to feel as if the Dark Ones are not bad guys. Um, I for some reason I remembered Khan saying, like, being a big part of the game, but he wasn't, which I'm happy about. I'm glad that he's just an exposition device. He's just kind of cringe. I don't know. The other characters are somewhat grounded and believable, but Khan, he is just such a goody two shoes. Really pisses me off when Anya calls me the rabbit. I'm sure that was intentional, and I'm sure it's just her flirting with me. But man, it really pissed me off. Um, yeah, I hated it. Uh, the 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 recaps were pretty good. The tunnel animations look pretty cool. The exposition was not that bad. I mean, like at some point, like the soldier's like, "Oh, that's Artyom. He found DC 6, or he found D6, and he's now a ranger, and he is now decorated. Whatever. I can get with that. Whatever. It was enough. The Nazis come and they whack you with their boot, and they say "Guten Morgen." Kind of funny. I like that. Kind of funny. There was some really great writing in here. So you get captured by the Nazis, and you're in the cell with these other guys, and they're like, "It's time to see if you're a mutant." And the guy's like, "I have 2 arms, 2 legs, 10 fingers," and they got out the measuring thing, and they're like, "Your head is 2 centimeters too big," and he's like, "No," and he gets shot. Um, Really, I didn't remember what happened. The betrayal with Pavel says we go our separate ways, and I was just questioning, like, is that going to happen? Is that going to? Because he kept repeating it. He's made out to be a really good guy, though. Pavel is probably the best character in the game. He's just the most developed, the most rounded. And then his the surprise later is pretty cool. Um, the cruelty to the prisoners adds tension to the prison, the concentration camp scene. It's literally a concentration camp. So you're trying to move to save them. Unfortunately, you can't. And this is a little bit misleading because later on in the game there are people that you can save. And so I was just thinking, okay, they're just going to be killed. And then at the end of the game, there's a guy that gets shot. He's a commie, and the commie's like, "Well, I'm going to shoot you because you're infected." And he was like, I thought that I could save his life, but when you shoot the guy that was going to shoot him, he shoots you because he's a commie. Um, yeah, for the first encounters, there's very little reason to use stealth. It is not necessary. You can just kill everyone. I mean, I figured, yeah, because you're at the Nazi base, and I figured, okay, I've got, but no, you just shoot them all. They for whatever reason, maybe it is just not. I don't know. Maybe it's just how badass Artyom is. This is not like a skill shooter. It's more of a story shooter than anything else. That could be why. And I don't know. The AI, the characters are just so living and believable, and Artyom's just so quiet, which is probably why he kills them so good. And later on in the game, it's kind of like John Wick. They start like talking about him, like they say he's more beast than man. So I get it. I get it. I mean, Artyom's probably just that good, to be honest. But I don't know. The Nazis kind of died really bad in their own base, like really, really bad. Um, there are so many weapons in this game that it is absolutely a trifling deal. Much like well, the first game there are a couple weapons that stand out, but there's there's the ash shot, and it's a one shot shotgun pistol, and I'm sure there is a use for this. I'm not going to say there isn't, but I don't know. Maybe it does more damage than the other shotguns. I'm not sure. Um, and then one of my favorite lines one of my favorite lines in here is when Pavel is like, "We are just like the Three Musketeers, but there are only two of us." That had me slapping my leg. I thought that was so funny, so funny. Very good writing in this. Very good writing in this game. Perhaps better than in the first. You can donate to the last critic in the metro, and it's fantastic because I mean I hate critics, right? I'm a critic, so they are my natural enemies. But he's just making this case about how everything sucks, and he doesn't really offer anything to the picture other than criticizing. So I gave him 5 bullets. I don't regret that at all. I could not find the safes in Commie when I ended up getting the Commie could not find the safes. Must be very challenging or something. I'm not sure. It was very hard to find the safes in Commie Couldn't find them. Um, the commies, you get to the station, and like they're being super authoritarian. These people want to come in, and they're their fathers are like, "Can you just let the kids in?" And the commies are kind of mean to them, but then you see all the nice things in that station, and so you're like, okay, maybe the commies are cool, but no, they're bad. They go bad, good, bad. And the reason that's so nice is they tell you from the get-go why, like what the true nature is, and then you just have the wool pulled over your eyes about it. um yeah, and once again with the commies, there's really no reason to stealth unless you're RPing. I like to do the stealth just because it just would be silly to kill them all. But I think I ended up killing them all just looking for the chests, which I did not find. Um, but there are places where if you aggro them, the bad guys in armor come out, and they're a bit of a joke. You can just sit at the nice corner and shoot them as they poke their head out. But I imagine on the hardest difficulty, this is not even a choice. So there, this is mostly a story-based game, and yet I might replay it just because I have not played it on the highest difficulty. I don't think it would be very, very hard to do that. The humans probably very hard. The mutants, unbelievably difficult. I think. The boss fights, the Big Mama. The bear's name isn't Big Mama, but the big thing on the ground is called the Big Mama. And boy, howdy, is she a bitch! You have to have so first you fight her underlings, which don't fuck the Nosalises once again. Hardest enemy in the game by a long shot. They just run up to you and bite you a lot. If you miss your shot on them, you're dead. So first, yeah, you face man 20, 30 Nosalises and no, okay, no, probably closer to 15, 18. But what you have to do is sit in the corner and just throw the incendiary grenades in front of you. You need five. That's the only way to stop them. You can stop them if you want to by shooting them, but then you're going to be all out of ammunition for Big Mama. So you must pretty much up until that encounter happens with the 15, 18 Nosalises, you must use no ammunition, only throwing knives. If the next time I play this game, I am going to try to use the throwing knives in combat. Last game I bitched about how it didn't seem as though the grenades had much use, and that is because the throwing knives have so much use. If you can use them in combat, you can save a lot of ammunition. So very useful, very very useful. Um, lighting up the spider bugs was very satisfying. I didn't even remember them. I didn't even really remember them at the end of the game. They are just kind of a early game sort of enemy. It is more. I mean, the difficulty there is well rounded for them, but it was very satisfying turning the lights on and cooking them. And it is interesting because up to that point in the game, you're turning off the lights, but for the bugs, you turn on the lights. So it gives the lights more playability, I would say. There is no health regen. It says in the loading screens there's health regen. I don't think that happens. Yes, there's these guards talking to each other, and one of them is like, "If ignorance is bliss, you're the happiest around here," and that once again is good writing. I like it. I like it a lot. I ran into three very bad glitches in this game. Very very bad glitches. The first glitch, okay, maybe okay, two of them very bad. One of them, whatever. The first glitch was when you have the named like cartmobile thing. That part is very fun actually. I didn't remember what it did, and it's very cool. You get in the cart, and he's just using the pedals to drive it. It looks like his whole body would sit in it, but he's just and you just pivoting around on the top, shooting things as you're moving, and then you have the ability to stop in little areas. Very cool, very cool. But there's a cart on the tracks, and you need a guy to help you move the cart. And I killed everyone around that guy, and yet he was not still liberated. So go figure. And so I did everything I could, and there's just no way to get past it. So I reloaded it, and lo and behold, that guy could push the cart. I noticed another glitch about halfway through the game, right around when the cart fucked me over. Actually, no, right when the cart fucked me over. I could no longer knock guys out. I'm not sure if it's because they're really, really bad guys and the guys before were just guards. I don't know. Maybe it was intentional. I don't know. I don't know. But Artyom is not okay. In this game, he's a killer, but in the first game, he's an explorer. And my Artyom in this game is a nice guy. So I didn't want him to kill all those guys. Not a big deal. You can just knife them. It's the same thing. I can just pretend I'm whacking them with a baton. I can pretend. But the one glitch that very nearly killed me very poorly, it made the boss fight with Pavel a nightmare, is I could not change out my masks. So I fought all those assholes in the depot, and the first time I went to the depot, I did perfectly fine. I did perfectly fine. I just snuck past all of them. But then I killed one of them, and I picked up a weapon which I thought was a VSV, but it was actually the semi-automatic shotgun. Big surprise once I get to Pavel's boss fight. Big surprise. I'm shooting buckshot up on the windows. That is just about the only point in the game where you want to use the sniper rifle. It is gifted to you on that red brick ceiling right before you go to Pavel's place. Yeah, and yeah, the last glitch was I couldn't switch out my gas mask. It was just horrifying. I was walking around this big crack in it, and Artyom makes the worst noises when he's suffocating. It's very nerve wracking. I had to basically just rush through Pavel's gunfire to get to him, and my mask was all messed up. I did not kill anybody in the game. Didn't kill anyone that I didn't have to. At least I saved Pavel. I saved Lednitsky. I saved the Mama Bear. I saved all of them. I think that is what Artyom would do. This is a story of redemption, and I mean, the mother bear looks so sad with her cubs. The cubs were watching her get ravaged. It was cool. It was very cool when the Nosalises helped you take down the mother bear. That part I vaguely remembered from my first playthrough, and it is like these bitches that are messing with the whole game. They have a loose alliance with you, but they ended up killing me more than her. They ended up killing me more than her. I would destroy her, and then I would be, taking like gathering my wits after the fight, and they just rushed me, and it was very, 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 very bad, very bad. RPK best weapon in the game. RPK easily best weapon in the game. Okay, the AK it seems to do more damage to the Nosalises in this game for whatever reason. The laser sight makes it great. RPK, it takes longer to look down the sight. Like it takes him forever to raise the gun and look down the sight. But you slap on laser sight and no need to even look down for most of the game. You just dump rounds into them. It seemed as though the Nosalises have a different movement pattern in this game, which makes the duplet less useful. I um I just could not really find a secondary. I think in my next playthrough, I'm just going to maybe use the I don't know one of the pneumatic weapons. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The dart gun, probably. I realize you can recover the dart, so that seems like it's a very good thing to have. But honestly, in this game, you have to have a weapon that shoots a lot. You want to have a weapon that shoots a lot really quickly. There seems to be lots of ammo in this game, and if I was really good about it, I could have a rotation of switching through weapons according to ammo variability. But once again, the pistol class very useless. Maybe the pneumatic class would be good. The pistol class is good, very good at the beginning of the game. The revolver, oh my goodness, pow, 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 pow. You just pow, pow, pow with the revolver. Very, very satisfying too to blow their heads off. Kalishnikov, okay. I used the AK-74 at the beginning of the game. Didn't really use it again. I just used the RPK. Is best policy mainly to just pick up weapons that are already upgraded. Spend money on one or two weapons. Right before Big Mama, I bought the drum mag, and it didn't help me out that much. I ended up spending all of my military grade ammunition. So in this game, you really just want to save your military grade ammunition, which is why RPK is double good because it can shoot that. One of the benefits of military grade ammunition that I did not speak about last game was that you can actually see how much ammo you have. So that is nice. That is very nice. Um, yeah, it seemed like the AK was better against the Watchmen this time around, but it sucked against people. They would just eat up the ammunition. They would just eat it up. I thought the game was over a couple times. It kind of could have ended. The weapons grade Ebola plot line just kind of came at me out of nowhere. Very interesting. It's just Ebola that does not spread very much. So that is great. That is wonderful. There's a spiritual journey at the end with the river. Uh, the missile launch makes Artyom seem horrible in the first game. When he is watching the missile launch in the first game, he's got his hands at parade rest, and he just looks like a henchman. He looks evil as shit from the first game when you get to see that. Uh the Dark One provides a pacifist path, which is pretty cool. It just changes the tone of the game. he is what I mean. He gets out of the tunnel. He says it is very hard to breathe in there, and so he is a creature. He is a creature of the upper level by far, and that was great. The commies talk up Artyom when you're hunting them in the depot. They're like, maybe it is better if we don't find him, and they make him sound like John Wick. Very cool. Yeah. Oh, and I fucked up so bad because I took one of their weapons. I thought it was a VSV. I finally cleared out my RPK for what I thought was a VSV, but no, it was the semi-automatic shotgun. Sorry, it's a fully automatic shotgun with a drum mag on it. All in all, cool game. The final battle, pretty cool. Final battle's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm kind of dreading playing Exodus, to be quite honest. Kind of dreading it, but I will do it. It's a fun story time adventure, and honestly, the only thing I can say about this game is it seems like the beginning of the game is very thought out, very content rich, and towards the last quarter of the game or the last third of the game, you're outside a lot, and it's just like bleak and dreary. And I think it's because in this game you are not passed like a baton from character to character. And this is something I miss from the first game, that being around the people, being around the people. It lightens up the game. The pacing issue kind of weird. The game could have ended at a couple different times, but yeah, it kind of lost its momentum after you kill the big mama. But there's still enough reason to be playing. You get invested in it, you stay with it. Overall, happy with this game. Very cool.